Guys, for the longest time, I thought I was a real conspiracy theorist. But ever since Floyd Shivambu left the EFF, I quickly realized that when it comes to conspiracy theories, I'm a nobody, man. I'm a nobody. The things that people are saying to justify this move of Floyd Shivambu leaving the EFF to joining the MK party are insane.
No one can be loyal to a new idea.
Hello there, guys, and welcome to Daily Updates. It has been 2 days since the resignation of Floyd Shivambu from the Economic Freedom Fighters. Just 4 hours ago, Floyd went on to Twitter and posted the following message under the MK party, saying that the most solid and sound decision ever. He is posting under the MK party welcome, which really tells us that Floyd Shivambu has closed the chapter on the Economic Freedom Fighters to open a new chapter in the MK party. It is no longer about what Floyd wants, what Floyd is going to do. Floyd Shivambu is the new member of the MK party, and he has forgotten about the Economic Freedom Fighters. Since the resignation of Floyd Shivambu, a lot of people in South Africa have been debating about this issue, and actually many have been saying that this is a strategy between the EFF and the MK party in order to defeat the ANC. People are saying that MK party and the EFF are working together. Floyd Shivambu going to the MK party, it is just a strategy so that he can go there and help develop the MK party so that they can come together, aligning to fight the ANC. And I'm here to say that that is incorrect. There is no such thing that is being in the works.
Man, one thing that I find strange in this whole ordeal is that the EFF never held Dali Mpofu accountable. Because Dali Mpofu, for the longest time, he has actually been working for Jacob Zuma. If it wasn't for Dali Mpofu, maybe Jacob Zuma would not be successful with the MK party, because Dali Mpofu is the one that actually ensured that Jacob Zuma won the court cases against the ANC while he's the representative of the EFF. So Dali Mpofu helps Jacob Zuma to fight the ANC in the courts, and Jacob Zuma wins his court cases. And the MK party comes to overthrow the EFF in the elections. So the leader that Dali Mpofu was helping now has more support than the leader that Dali Mpofu is working with. Jacob Zuma comes and now he overthrows the EFF. And I find it so strange that the EFF supporters actually never said Dali Mpofu. But to be honest, you actually helped Jacob Zuma. You helped Jacob Zuma to rise to power. You helped Jacob Zuma against the ANC. And now Jacob Zuma's party has dethroned us as the third biggest political party in the country. I find it so strange that the EFF supporters actually never said anything about Dali Mpofu working so closely with Jacob Zuma. Like, it is strange. To me, it is strange. Because if Dali Mpofu was a member of my political party, I don't have a political party, but if Dali Mpofu was a member of my political party, and the person that Dali Mpofu is helping comes to overthrow us, I would actually be pissed at Dali Mpofu and say, man, why the hell would you help Jacob Zuma to come to power? Because the same man has now dethroned us as the third biggest political party in the country. It's insane. And another thing is that people are now ignoring the fact that for the longest time there have been internal issues inside the EFF. And maybe this is the reasons why Floyd Shivambu left the party. There have been internal issues. We know that it's been a while now that Floyd Shivambu and Julius Malema could not see eye to eye. But suddenly now people are telling us that no, this move by Floyd Shivambu going to the MK party, it is a chess move, because there is a possible measure that is coming between the EFF and the MK party. I don't believe it. I believe that Jacob Zuma knew that there were internal conflicts inside the EFF, and Jacob Zuma just took advantage of the fact that Floyd Shivambu and Julius Malema could not see eye to eye. I believe that Jacob Zuma took advantage of that. And why would Jacob Zuma do that? Because Jacob Zuma still wants to destroy the EFF and the ANC. Why would Jacob Zuma want to destroy the ANC, the EFF? Guys, when Jacob Zuma was campaigning, one of the things that he used to say is that I need to go back to the office so that I can finish off what I started. I need to go back to the office so that I can finish off what I started. It tells us that Jacob Zuma till today could not come to terms with the fact that he could not finish up his term as the president of the country. Jacob Zuma is still hurt by the fact that he could not finish up his term as the president of the country. And who is actually responsible for the fact that Jacob Zuma could not finish up his term as the president of the country? Partially is the EFF and Julius Malema. You remember Julius Malema used to say that if you want to inflict pain on the president, if you want to make sure that you give the president a pain that he's going to carry until he dies, just make sure that president never finish off his term. He was even mocking Thabo Mbeki, that Thabo Mbeki is still crying even today, the fact that he could not finish up his term. Thabo Mbeki will carry that pain until he dies. And now the same person that is going to carry that pain until he dies, it is Jacob Zuma. So I find it quite strange and quite naive coming from the EFF to now think that Jacob Zuma has forgot that the EFF is the political party that actually destroyed his presidency. Why would Jacob Zuma forget that these are the people that actually destroyed my presidency? Because in my books, Jacob Zuma has two enemies. The enemies is the ANC and the EFF. These are two political parties that Jacob Zuma considers as backstabbers. These are two political parties that Jacob Zuma actually thought that, okay, these people are going to shield me against the white monopoly capital. But these two political parties actually ensured that I could not finish up my term as the president of the country. And I'm angry about that. And I'm coming back and I'm going to show them that I'm not happy about the fact that I could not finish off my term. So now you listen to the MK members. The MK members are the ones that are preaching this thing that no, there is a possible measure coming between the EFF and the MK party. No, you guys are irrational. Just look at what is happening. There is a possible measure coming between the EFF and the MK party. But if you listen to the response that is coming from the EFF members are not happy about the fact that they lost Floyd Shivambu. They are not happy about they lost Floyd Shivambu. So right now, the MK members have actually concocted a reason to actually diffuse what the EFF members are feeling. That, guys, there is a possible measure that is coming between the EFF and the MK party. Do not listen to these people that are saying that there is a fight coming between the EFF and the MK party. What is coming is a possible measure between these two political parties. I don't believe that there is a measure that is coming. I believe that Jacob Zuma took advantage with the fact that he knew that Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu could not sit eye to eye. He knew that there were internal conflicts happening inside the EFF, and he made his move to destroy that political party. It was not enough to destroy the EFF and make it the fourth party in the country. Now he wants to make sure that the EFF leadership has been destroyed, and now he came and purged Floyd Shivambu from the benches of the EFF. I mean, if you really think about it, if there's going to be a measure between the EFF and MK party, which party is going to lose? Which party is going to lose? Because in terms of the numbers, MK party is a bigger political party than the EFF. It means that the EFF will have to lose in this measure. The EFF is the one that is going to lose its identity on this measure. So why would the EFF, a political party that has been in existence for the past 10 years, actually allow itself or their identity to be swallowed by a political party that was announced on the 16th of December? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Even if there is a measure that is coming, the EFF will now take the orders from the MK party, because MK party is a bigger political party. Jacob Zuma is a bigger politician compared to Julius Malema. So EFF, as the political party that has been in existence for the past 10 years, will now listen to a political party that was announced on the 16th of December. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you? To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. To me, it sounds like Jacob Zuma is now came back for his revenge. To me, it sounds like Jacob Zuma, what he has been saying during the campaign, He's now coming back and saying that these people actually destroyed me. These people destroyed me. And I know that they are not seeing eye to eye. I'm going to purge their members. I'm going to purge their members. Because right now, the EFF is the one that is losing. The EFF has already lost the deputy president. Floyd Shivambu is a very prominent leader inside the EFF. He's a very prominent leader inside the EFF. So why would the EFF lose Floyd Shivambu? Because Floyd Shivambu leaving the EFF, he's going to take a lot of support, even on the ground, from the people. The people that used to vote for the EFF because they loved Floyd Shivambu are now going to vote for the MK party, meaning the EFF is going to lose. The EFF is going to lose. And we are learning from the media that more members of the EFF are going to leave the EFF to join the MK party. Then you have the people that are telling us that we need to understand that there is a possible measure that is coming. There is no possible measure that is coming between the EFF and the MK party. The MK party, it is swallowing the EFF. This is what is happening. The EFF is being swallowed by the MK party. So all this progressive caucus, we are one thing. No, the EFF actually need to snap out of it and actually realize that this political party that has just been announced on the 16th of December, they want to swallow us. They want to swallow us. Why are we the ones that are losing prominent members to them? Why are their members not coming to the EFF, but the EFF members going to the MK party? No, Floyd Shivambu is going to the MK party because the Floyd Shivambu needs to help them draft their constitution. Guys, EFF, you guys need to wake up and realize that MK party, it is swallowing you. MK party, it is swallowing you. Because if I look at this thing that is happening right now, it looks like MK party has been getting some intel about the EFF. This is the reason why Jacob Zuma and the MK party are now making their moves, because they understand that the leadership of the EFF is fragile. They understand that there is no consistency inside Winnie Madikizela Mandela House. So it is time to actually make their moves. It is time to make their moves. There is no measure that is coming. There is no measure that is coming. And this measure is only preached by the MK because the MK doesn't want the EFF to be angry with them. The MK does not want the EFF to be angry with them. So they are saying, no, guys, you need to hold on. You need to hold on. You need to hold on. We understand that we took a prominent leader in your party. We took someone who is good with policy in your party. You need to hold on because there is a possible measure that is coming. No, MK party is swallowing the EFF. This is exactly what is happening.
Floyd wants, what Floyd is going to do. Floyd Shivambu is the new member of the MK party, and he has forgotten about the economic freedom fighters. Since the resignation of Floyd Shivambu, a lot of people in South Africa have been debating about this issue, and actually many have been saying that this is a strategy between the EFF and the MK party in order to defeat the ANC. People are saying that MK party and the EFF are working together. Floyd Shivambu going to the MK party, it is just a strategy so that he can go there and help develop the MK party so that they can come together, aligning to fight the ANC. And I'm here to say that that is incorrect. There is no such thing that is being in the works. EFF was ambushed by the decision of Floyd Shivambu. Now, before we go on further with this issue, and also the possibility of Mbuyiseni Ndlozi leaving the EFF, we need to take a walk back to 2023. In 2023, the EFF welcomed a member of the ANC by the name of Makazole Mzobe.
Guys, I need you to pay attention. I need you to pay attention to what my brother is going to say here. I need you to pay attention and see how the EFF was actually sabotaged in KwaZulu-Natal. You remember EFF in KwaZulu-Natal, they got like 300,000 votes, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, I need you to pay attention and understand how the EFF was sabotaged in KwaZulu-Natal.
Welcomed a member of the ANC by the name of Makazole Mzobe.
This is the man that my brother is talking about here.
Mzobe was at one point in the ANC Youth League leadership in KZN. So by him being welcomed in the EFF, it was not just an ordinary member. This is someone who's well known. This is someone who's coming from the ANC into the EFF So the introduction of Mzobe was one of the big things because the EFF was looking to take over. Mzobe goes to the EFF and immediately he's invited to the EFF podcast and even going further to campaign for the EFF because now he's the new man in the EFF. They have to welcome him with both hands. So Mzobe is welcomed in the EFF, and in December, the MK party is launched, the Umkhonto Wesizwe party. Julius Malema, in one of the press conferences, he says that before MK was launched, he sat down with Jacob Zuma to speak about a whole range of issues, and on that table, one of them was making sure that the ANC is defeated in 2024 elections. We enter 2024. Floyd Shivambu is deployed to the KZN to stabilize that province and also to gather more support for the economic freedom fighters. At one point, Julius Malema said that they did not expect the support they received from the KZN during the last elections, so they are looking to increase on what they received. Floyd Shivambu is in KZN and they are preparing for their rally in Moses Mabhida. What happens next is that the rally in Moses Mabhida becomes more of a flop. And when Julius Malema addressed, indirectly, he hinted at the flop of Moses Mabhida. After the Moses Mabhida rally, Floyd Shivambu gets redeployed to Eastern Cape. This is a vote of no confidence in what he did in the KZN. That is fine. We go to the elections. The EFF receives 9%. The MK party gets 14%. This is a big concern. From being number 3, the EFF is reduced to be number 4. On top of them, it is the MK party, the Democratic Alliance, and the ANC. What happens next is a very surprising move. The same Mzobe who went to the EFF last year, 2023, around October, now is leaving the EFF to MK party. He goes there and is welcomed with a position in the presidency. How ironic. He was in the EFF, goes out, goes to the MK party. The EFF lost to the MK party. Now he has a position in the presidency. As time goes, we witness one of the most surprising departure in the economic freedom fighters. The member of the freedom fighters, the deputy president, someone who started the economic freedom fighters together with Julius Malema, is resigning. Floyd Shivambu is leaving the EFF, and he is not just going to any other political party. He is following on the footstep of Mzobe. He is going to be joining the MK party. The departure of Floyd Shivambu not only shook Julius Malema, it also shook the rest of South Africa, because that departure is something nobody ever thought about it, because Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu were like a solid team. They were like brothers, biggest friends who formed EFF to go and work together, president and deputy. But before we go on the reason why MK party is destroying the EFF, the next person that we need to focus on is Mbuyiseni Ndlozi.
I mean, guys, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? It's not a coincidence, man. It's not a coincidence. I mean, like, the EFF performs terrible in KwaZulu-Natal, and Floyd Shivambu leaves the EFF and he goes to join the MK party. The same MK party that has worked wonderfully in KwaZulu-Natal. It is not a coincidence, man. It is not a coincidence, man. And for people who think that Jacob Zuma will forget the humiliation that he was subjected to in parliament, the payback, the money, the insults that he was subjected to, then people are clearly not paying attention to Jacob Zuma, man. Jacob Zuma does not forget. If there's one thing about Jacob Zuma, he does not forget. So if you think that Jacob Zuma has forgot about what the EFF has done to him, then good luck to you. Good luck to you. Jacob Zuma will never forget what these people did to him. He will never forget what these people did to him. Never. He will never do that.
He is member of the EFF, and at the moment, since Floyd Shivambu left, the only engine of the EFF would be Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. But where does he stand in terms of Floyd Shivambu leaving the EFF? A lot of members have been tweeting, have been sending posts about let us come together, let us form this political party, let us rally behind Julius Malema because we believe that he's going to build this EFF together and make it a formidable force again.
And guys, if you remember, after the elections, the MK party said, we are not going to accept these election results because we believe that these election results are rigged. This is the position that the MK party took after the elections. And what did Julius Malema and the EFF say about the election results? Julius Malema said, we accept the election results. We don't think that these election results were rigged. We accept what the IEC has presented to us. And from then, Julius Malema was called a sellout by the same MK party. The same MK party that people are trying to make us forget that for the longest time they have been working against the EFF. MK party said Julius Malema is a sellout. Julius Malema is working with a white monopoly capital. Why would Julius Malema accept the election results if he knows that the election results were actually rigged? The same MK party was saying that about the EFF. They were saying that about the EFF. So this whole kumbaya that people are trying to portray, I don't know where people actually get it from. I don't know what people actually get it from. From where I'm sitting, the EFF is being swallowed by the MK party. The MK party wants to be the new EFF. But this is going to be the most ruthless EFF. If you thought that the EFF was ruthless, then MK party is going to show you what exactly is ruthless.
Where is Mbuyiseni Ndlozi? The last post we saw of Mbuyiseni Ndlozi was on Twitter when he reposted a quote that said that it is better to sacrifice everything than to live in slavery. That is the only post that Mbuyiseni Ndlozi did, and it was before Floyd Shivambu left. He knew Floyd Shivambu was leaving. He posted that before Floyd Shivambu left. Since Floyd Shivambu left, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi never said anything. He kept quiet, which really could say that the silence of Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is very loud. Malema said that there are other members who are going to follow Floyd Shivambu because they support him. They align with Floyd Shivambu. The question then is Mbuyiseni one of those? Because it looks like he has kept mum on the issue of Floyd leaving. He has kept mum on gathering more support for EFF and Julius Malema. The indication could be he's trying to leave and they are probably begging him not to leave because you lose Floyd Shivambu, you lose Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. That is the end of the EFF. You cannot survive without Mbuyiseni and Floyd Shivambu.
But when it comes to Floyd Shivambu, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, I don't think that Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is going to leave the EFF. I don't think Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is going to leave the EFF. Even if he leaves the EFF, I don't think it's going to go to MK party. Because you remember just before the elections, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi actually made that controversial speech about Jacob Zuma. That Jacob Zuma is just an old man who has nothing to offer to the people of this country. Why should South Africans vote for Jacob Zuma when Jacob Zuma is just an old, senile man who has nothing to offer to the people of this country? So maybe he can go to the MK party, but he must not think that Jacob Zuma is going to forget about those utterances. He must not think that Jacob Zuma is going to forget about those utterances. I don't know why people think that Jacob Zuma man forgets. Man, Jacob Zuma does not forget. If there's one thing about Jacob Zuma, man, the man does not forget. The man does not forget, and the man knows how to hold a grudge. Jacob Zuma knows how to hold a grudge. So I think even if Mbuyiseni Ndlozi wants to leave, maybe join the MK party, but maybe he knows that, man, that speech actually put me in the bad books of the MK party. Because ever since then, the MK supporters, man, they've actually never had love for Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. They never had love for Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. Because Mbuyiseni Ndlozi attacked Jacob Zuma. He attacked him.
If Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is brought forward as one of the top 6 and given a good position, he's going to help build that organization together with Julius Malema. He is a very vital member of the organization, and his silence is very worrying, which indicates that he could be tempted to leave the organization. The question that is left is how and why would Jacob Zuma and the MK party want to destroy the economic freedom fighters? Now, to answer that, we have to go back the last day when Jacob Zuma left office.
Thank you. We'll meet someone. We'll meet someone.
By Jacob Zuma saying that we are going to meet again, this is not the last time. It indicated that the score is not settled. Jacob Zuma has a score to settle with Ramaphosa because he's the one who made sure that Jacob Zuma is removed as the president. But Ramaphosa is not the only person that Jacob Zuma has a score to settle. I believe that Jacob Zuma also has a score to settle with Julius Malema and the economic freedom fighters. The reason for that is because EFF was in the front in terms of pushing Jacob Zuma out.
Of course.
Pay back the money. Babaga Duduzane. All those name calling, all that pressure for Jacob Zuma to leave, it cannot be pushed aside by Jacob Zuma. We always hear about in politics, there are no enemies. In politics, there are no grudges. But in this circumstance, there are a lot of grudges. If there were no grudges, Jacob Zuma would just leave and never want to settle the score with Ramaphosa. Now, we've seen the Tea Party, Julius Malema with Dali Mpofu coming into Nkandla to have a tea party after that arrest warrant of Jacob Zuma. They went there to try and convince Jacob Zuma to say that, hand yourself in. And I'm sure they had a lot of things to say. Now Jacob Zuma is out of jail. He forms MK party. He goes on and contests the elections. But before that, ANC tries to stop Jacob Zuma and MK party from participating in the general elections. They try by all means, they always lose in court. Finally, MK party is part of the political parties that are contesting general elections. When elections were done, they received 14%, 14.5%. The economic freedom fighters receive 9.5%. You look back at the issues, you look back at the strategy of Jacob Zuma, it will tell you that the strategy is to go back at all the people that were at the forefront of being against Jacob Zuma. The EFF was very vocal against Jacob Zuma.
Man, Jacob Zuma said it a lot. Guys, Jacob Zuma said it time and time again. I remember during the counting of the votes, when the MK spokesperson was actually asked, guys, do you think that it's going to be possible for you to work with the ANC? They said, no, we don't want to work with the ANC of Ramaphosa. We want the ANC to actually get rid of Ramaphosa. And after the ANC has got rid of Ramaphosa, the ANC and MK party, they need to work out on a deal that is going to make Jacob Zuma the president. So it means that Jacob Zuma actually never got over the fact that he was kicked out of the office. He never got over that. He never got over that. That's why even the MK, the spokespersons, I remember it was Ndlela standing with Jacob Zuma's daughter, Duduzile, that whatever deal that is going to be cooked, it has to ensure that Jacob Zuma becomes the president. So Jacob Zuma is not happy, and he has never found peace ever since he was kicked out of the office. So he's coming back with revenge. He's coming back to actually make them pay. Everyone, every last one of them. He's coming back to ensure that these people are getting exactly what they deserve. Then people are telling us that there is a possible measure coming. All right.
Jacob Zuma is very old. He cannot take part in politics, but he can at the background. And by doing that, is destroying the ANC of Ramaphosa and also destroying the EFF. But to destroy the ANC of Ramaphosa, you have to get all those members. You have to take the power from the EFF and use it against the ANC. That is why Jacob Zuma is on a course, the MK party is on a course to make sure that they leave the EFF as weak as it can. And once they do that, they get all the power and use it against the ANC. What we are going to see next is the destruction of the economic freedom fighters. That will lead to MK party being a very strong political party. And in 2029, we might see EFF getting 2 to 4%, while the MK party tries to get 20%.
Man, because if you look, the real battle is between the MK party and the ANC. The real battle is between the MK party and the ANC.
Welcome back.
That is where the real battle is. So the EFF is just a nuisance that needs to be crushed, so that this war between the MK party and the ANC can actually take place. The EFF is just a nuisance. MK party is just a nuisance. So can you just imagine if those people from the EFF actually leave the EFF to go and join the MK party? As a member of the EFF, can you stand there and still say that there is a possible measure coming here? Because you remember Julius Malema said that some people are still gonna join some people are still gonna leave the EFF. This is what he said, that he knows that many people are gonna leave the EFF, and those people, chances are they are gonna follow Floyd Shivambu. So if those people that we heard about in the media, that there is a possible chance that they are going to join the MK party, what do you think is going to happen in 2026? And what do you think is going to happen in 2029? The EFF will be completely destroyed. It will be destroyed. While the EFF members are sitting there waiting for a measure between the MK party and the EFF, the MK party will be a powerhouse. The MK party will be a powerhouse and well equipped to actually fight the ANC. They will be well equipped to fight the ANC, while the members of the EFF are sitting there waiting for a measure. There is no measure that is coming. There is no measure that is coming. The MK party is working to get rid of the ANC so that they can go and actually fight the ANC. This is where the real battle is. This is where the real battle is. You remember, not so long ago, I want to see if I can find that video. I remember it was on X. I will go to X right now if I find that video. It was on X of John Steenhuisen actually warning the EFF that, guys, I think you guys actually need to worry about the MK party. This MK party that is coming is the one that is going to destroy. Please do not pay attention. Please do not pay attention to the DA. The DA, it is the least of your worries. I'm trying to find that video. I think that video is somewhere on X. I'm trying to find that video. John Steenhuisen actually warning the MK party and say, guys, please be careful, because what the MK party has planned for you, I don't think that you guys are actually ready for what the MK party has actually planned for you. And they said John Steenhuisen is crazy. No, John Steenhuisen is crazy, man. You know, as the EFF, we are going to be the second largest political party in the country, man. We are going to be the second largest political party in the country. And John Steenhuisen told them that, guys, this is not the battle that you guys need to fight. I think that video was posted by Kabuina, man, and Alfred posts a lot of nonsense. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but I know I'm gonna find it somewhere here. So even the DA warned the EFF that, guys, the real battle is between you and Umkhonto weSizwe. Please stop paying attention to the DAs. Please, if you want to be the second biggest political party in the country, you need to make sure that you deal with this threat that is called Umkhonto weSizwe. If you don't deal with that threat that is called Umkhonto weSizwe, you are never going to survive. Okay, let me do it like this. Let me see the title of the video. Let me see the title of the video. Even that what is that progressive caucus thing. That progressive caucus thing, man, that thing was done to make sure that the EFF does not focus on the game at hand. John on the EFF. I'm going to look at it by title because I know it's gonna be easier for me to find it then. Come on, man. Guys, I'm gonna make sure that I find that video. I'm going to make sure. Come on, man. Worried or okay. Come on. When was this video posted? 2 days ago? Okay, here's the video. So guys, this is what John Steenhuisen actually said to
Floyd Shivambu of the EFF, seated where you are.
I want you to listen to John Steenhuisen actually warning the EFF about this monster that is called Umkhonto weSizwe.
Floyd Shivambu of the EFF, seated where you are, last week saying boldly that the EFF, if it doesn't make the #1 spot, it is most certainly going to become the main opposition in South Africa because this is scientific, he says, and it is based on, in part, the amount of youth support that they have managed to galvanize over time in the country. Are you worried of losing the main opposition status?
No, not at all. And I think you have every election, the EFF make these outrageous claims. The last election was that they were going to win. They were going to win all the metros. I think it's part of the bravado that they pull out before the election. The real fight after the 29th of May is going to see who gets third place. Because if I look at some of the polling and some of the more up-to-date polls and certainly some of the more reliable polls, it's going to be a fiercely fought fight between the MK party and the EFF for third place. And I think that's where they should be worried about because they may end up being the 4th largest party in Parliament after this election, not the 3rd.
If I didn't know, I would say you are gaslighting the EFF.
Not at all. It's polling. It's there. MK has surged ahead in provinces like KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng. You look what happened at Orlando Stadium. I can tell you right now that that is where the fight is going to be after the 29th of May. The DA will be the official opposition if we're not able to form a coalition government at a national level. And the fight will be between the EFF and Jacob Zuma, ironically, for that third place.
He called it. He called it. And what did people say? That John Steenhuisen is talking nonsense. That the polling is talking nonsense. The EFF is going to be the main opposition party. And he said, man, you are worried about us. Please do not be worried about the DA. Be worried about Umkhonto weSizwe because this is where the problems are going to come. This is where your problems are actually lying with Umkhonto weSizwe. You think that you're going to be the second biggest political party? Watch Umkhonto weSizwe kick you to be the fourth biggest political party in the country. And his predictions actually came true. The predictions of the DA, they came true and said that exactly.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, EFF leader Julius Malema says that the door will always be open for former Deputy President Floyd Shivambu to return to the party. Now, this is despite the EFF constitution being opposed to members of the party who resign to join other parties to return. To unpack these new developments, I'm joined by political analyst Professor Susan Boyson and Prince Mashele. Good evening to the both of you. Thank you very much for joining us on Face the Nation.
Good evening.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Very interesting developments politically. Let's start with you, Professor. Your reaction to just what we heard this afternoon.
Well, at first I had a what reaction. Couldn't believe that that was actually happening because teams seem to be tight in the EFF. Things have not been going well for the EFF, and we know there isn't much space for Floyd Shivambu to rise in the ranks. But still, we had the sense that everything was roughly okay. But then, as the day proceeded, I first became convinced that there must be a bigger strategy, there must be a big plan, because it would make very much sense if there were a big plan, if there was some connivance between MK Party and the EFF. Like we know, this is a party that the MK Party is strong in some ways, momentum, numbers in parliament, and yet weak in other ways. And let's make sure that if that leadership, some things go wrong in the party and leadership implodes, etc., that this big, stunning constituency could be carried for the EFF. That would make such great sense. But then as the denials and the personal stories emerged through later in the day, one started wondering, was it not a personal breakout decision by Floyd Shivambu to actually go somewhere where there is more space for him as a person, as a direct leader, maybe some space created there.
Especially because of the stories that started to surface around the elective conference that's coming up, that possibly his position could be contested by the current Secretary General, Marshal Dlamini. One wonders then, what could have been happening? Prince, your views on what we've seen today and what possibly could be happening?
Let's start here. This stuff in politics is not surprising.
Prince Mashele.
Happens. Let's start next door in Zimbabwe. Mugabe and Mnangagwa, president and deputy president, had a massive fallout. Mnangagwa had to walk on foot from Zimbabwe through Mozambique to South Africa. That's one. Let's come back to South Africa. You had Thabo Mbeki and Jacob Zuma, president and deputy president. Massive fallout. We have seen that. Outside the ANC COP, you had Mbazi Mashilowa and Musuali Kota, president and deputy president. Massive fallout. So this is a fallout of young chaps. They are not the first to fall out. But here is the thing. When people who have been close fall out, whatever they built together will never be the same again. So what does this mean? This is the end of the EFF. It is actually, the EFF is being phased out of South African politics. It will take a good 10 years for it to disappear completely, but it will disappear. Julius Malema was the face of the EFF. Floyd Shivambu was the brain of the EFF. So you now have an EFF that is left only with a face. Even that face, by the way, is not looking good. You saw at the press conference, the guy has even lost weight in a day. The brain is gone. So if we are looking at the future of South Africa, we must think of the EFF as a thing of the past.
You've mentioned 2 points that maybe I want us to tackle, the face and the brain. If you are to form a political party, you need both in actual fact, because what we've ever often heard about Floyd is that he brings that intellectual depth, but Julius Malema is the mobilizer. You cannot have one without the other if you're going to form a strong, formidable opposition in this country. You need both. That's the first one. But the second, the examples that you've given us of the fallouts, whether it be Thabo Mbeki and former President Jacob Zuma, Mnangagwa and Robert Mugabe, in these instances, it seemed that the fallout was not confusing, it was apparent. But here, never have we seen what we saw today, which is a fallout where both men are so cordial. They hold a press briefing together. You even have the deputy president stating where he is going. That for some was quite peculiar, wouldn't you say?
No, I mean, like, to me, I think that a press conference, the reason why they did it like that, I believe that Julius Malema does not want to be the face of Floyd Shivambu leaving the EFF. Floyd Shivambu, take the stage and tell the whole country that you are leaving us and why you are leaving us. I don't want people to speculate tomorrow and say that I'm the reason that you left the EFF. I want you to tell them that you are leaving the EFF on your own. So I believe that Julius Malema did not want to be the face of Floyd Shivambu leaving the EFF. It's like, it's fine, it's fine. Do as you please, even if it means telling them that you are going to join the MK party. I don't know why would you tell the people that you are going to join the MK party while you are announcing your departure inside the Winnie Madikizela Mandela House. The word MK party should not even come out of your mouth while you are still standing on the EFF podium. But go ahead, do as you please. I just don't want to be associated with the fact that you left the EFF. You left the EFF on your own. I didn't push you out. You left the EFF on your own.
No, it's not. Let's first address your first point. You're correct. You do need a face and a brain in any political project for it to be successful. That's why Julius and Floyd, they knew this from the beginning, that we have different roles. Julius, you are the face, you are the loud mouth. Floyd, you are the guy who must sit behind a computer and write 7 cardinals of and principles, whatever they call that.
The cardinal pillars.
Exactly. So yes, but that is broken. Now we've got a hollow head that is there, it's a face, and there's no brain. So let's park that. But let's come to the second point you are making about the cordiality of their divorce. You know why? Because they know each other so well that they are aware that they cannot afford to spill beans about each other. These people have done a lot together, including corruption. Remember, they attended that meeting with Matodzi to accept bribes from VBS together. So Floyd knows.
According to Matodzi, of course, because we need to remain fair, that in their absence here, we cannot say, remember, they had the meeting. According to Matodzi,
but no one has denied that meeting, by the way. Dali Mpofu confirmed that that meeting took place. They themselves have not denied that meeting.
But the contents thereof, what was discussed.
That the money actually flowed. Nobody has denied that. The point of dispute, was it a bribe?
Yes, or a donation.
Exactly.
Yes.
I call it a bribe. I'll die for my sins. Don't worry about me. So here's the thing. They've done a lot together, these two. So they know they cannot afford to spill beans about each other. That's why they have to be cordial. You can put a gun to Floyd's head. He will never tell you what Julius did, because he knows if he were to do that, he would be implicating himself. So that's why I was not surprised. They will defend each other to the grave, because they know that if they were to spill beans, that would actually be suicide on both their parties.
So you believe the theory by some, just like Professor Susan Boyson stated, that she also was entertaining that theory, that possibly there's a grand plan here of some sort of amalgamation of these two political parties. You say there's nothing of that sort.
No, there isn't.
They've had a fallout.
No, it's a genuine fallout. Here's the thing. Floyd is going to MK. You see, people must not read a lot into this MK stuff. Floyd had very few options. One, he couldn't form his own party. He doesn't have the money and the means to form his party. Number two, he's not even a charismatic man. So he knew he wouldn't go that route. That's option number one that he had. Option number two is to go back to the ANC. He has enough enemies in the ANC to go back there. And also, the list of ANC unemployed people from parliament, the previous parliament, who are there one position, is so long that Floyd knew that he was going to be at the back. The only option was, where does he find a political home that will protect him? Because remember, you could be arrested by the way, there's a VBS. My theory.
But how would Mkhonto Wesizwe protect him when you've got the former president or the president of Mkhonto Wesizwe currently in the courts?
Exactly.
Why would he be protected?
He looked for a home where you have a largest concentration of people who are facing criminal stuff from the president himself. So if you go to a home like that, you can be protected.
No, but the EFF, they've actually had their own president, their own leader has sat in a court bench. So they don't have a step-aside policy. So surely, I don't know, Professor, your views on this. I mean, if it's just now...
Yeah, even me too, man. I don't understand how is MK Party supposed to protect Floyd Shivambu from VBS. This is what people have been actually saying, that no, Floyd Shivambu will be protected from VBS if he goes to Umkhonto weSizwe. But I don't know how is MK going to protect Floyd Shivambu from the EFF. How is it possible?
Now going to be the situation that he left because in the MK Party he would be protected or at least supported when he attends some sort of court cases. The former president is not protected. He is attending and present at all his court cases. And even in the EFF, they don't have a step-aside policy. So even if he were to be charged, some would assume that surely nothing would happen there. They wouldn't discipline him or remove him.
There's certainly enough people with possible charges or real charges against them in the MK Party to make him feel at home. And there's people of similar orientation, similarly endangered in one party, but he wouldn't have protection because the fellow party...
Or does it mean that because there are people inside the MK Party that are also facing their own things, when VBS comes to him, it won't look like such a big deal, just like how, unlike when he was with the EFF, because the EFF, like, their hands are not as sticky as the ANC and some of the people that have joined the Umkhonto weSizwe. So is this what people are trying to mean when they say that Floyd Shivambu will be protected because he is amongst people who are also facing their own things? So when VBS comes, it won't be such a big deal. Unlike when he's inside the EFF and VBS comes, and it is such a big deal because here you have a political party that presents itself as the saviors of black people, as the custodians of black people, and you have the deputy president of that party allegedly stealing money from poor masses. So it is a big deal inside the EFF, but inside Umkhonto weSizwe it is not such a big deal because you have other people that are also facing their own things
in the MK Party to make him feel at home. And there's people of similar orientation, similarly endangered in one party, but he wouldn't have protection because the fellow party members and leaders cannot guarantee that kind of protection. But yes, he would be only just so many other political parties have so many people with so many charges possible or real against them. But MK Party does have a particular quota of those. And the party, we know the stories recently with the MPs that are being recalled, replaced, MPLs, the rumors are in KwaZulu-Natal, several of them are being recalled, and there is a big need in that party for anybody or for people with experience in Parliament to come in and assist and help lead that party. So there's certainly a lot of space for people like Floyd.
But not necessarily protection.
Yeah,
although Mr. Mashele is adamant that there is protection.
No, let me explain this protection I'm talking about. You see, because if I don't explain, you will think that I mean that the MK Party can instruct the NPA not to act. That's not what I mean. Even Zuma, by the way, the MK Party, how does Zuma protect the MK Party? They simply organize crowds to go to the court and toy outside the court whenever he appears.
But it's of no consequence.
It would be lonely for a poor Floyd if he were to be charged by the NPA. And I think he's going to be charged given what I've seen with the Matodzi affidavit. He goes to court alone. There's no political party that's singing outside. You see, these chaps are used to that kind of life where they command the masses. They have political support. So he can only find that in the MK. In the EFF, he could find it before he had a fallout. Remember, my starting point is there has been a genuine fallout, and he recognized that there is no way that he can coexist with Julius within the EFF. So what does he do when he had to leave? So he must look for another political party that can
sing outside court.
Exactly.
And then if you're found guilty of whatever,
you go to
it's
jail.
Besides the point. But you had comrades singing outside. For some, that would seem quite shallow. That you would really go to the MK Party purely just so that They will have no influence on the on the NPA, but the fact that they'll just be singing outside while you're inside the courtroom.
There's another thing. You want me to mention more?
Yes.
You watch the space. Call me if it doesn't happen. You will be given a job in parliament. Which other party would give Floyd the job in parliament outside the EFF? Absolutely none. So he knows that. His salary is going to be replaced. Remember, as we speak now, if he were to spend a month without being employed, the guy will actually be broke. He's unlike you. You have a salary at the end of the month. He will not have a salary. So,
but Floyd Shivambu will not be broke, man. I think Prince Mashele is reaching, man. Prince Mashele is reaching. I don't think Floyd Shivambu will be broke by missing like 1 month's salary, man. I think Floyd Shivambu can go like a year without actually getting a salary, and he will still be fine. This is a politician after all, man.
So the MK is going to give him a salary. He calculated also that is actually a big factor. So it's not only about protection outside court. It's also the real stuff of the stomach.
Politics of the stomach, Professor? You think that that's probably what motivated his move?
Yes, in a big way. But more than that, the possibility to be a leader and to rise possibly to higher leadership positions in a party that is now the official opposition in Parliament, in a party that has got momentum, that has been taking territory off the EFF in the last election. We can remember just towards the end of last year still, the EFF had been expected to be growing and maybe even displace the DA as the biggest opposition party. But it was the MK party that came and it ate into that potential support of the EFF. So it is, at this stage, it is such a wonderful vehicle for a person with ambition, with some abilities to grab that and to run into that party, because it has got such a need for stronger leadership. We don't know how long former President Jacob Zuma is going to last as the leader of that party. The sky is almost the limit in that party, and I'm sure Floyd Shivambu sees that.
And then what of the EFF, just in closing? Because there are those that say that once a party starts to experience this level of decline, it can never change its fortunes.
We have seen in the case of the ANC just hasn't got a good reputation at all for winning back support. In the case of COPE, it won back a modest amount of support. And when there were other breakaways, once those people have severed those bonds and the voting bonds, electoral support bonds with a big party, especially the ANC in that type of constituency, they hardly ever go back. So that is a big potential constituency sitting out there. And if the MK party is organized well and well led, then that will be available there. And so it's a good strategic move for somebody with that kind of ambition to go there. And Floyd may in due course, over an election or two, a number of years, there may even be a merger between MK party and EFF, even if it isn't part of the plan now.
Mr.
Because
Mashele?
party politics is fluid.
Mr. Mashele, in 30 seconds, your closing remarks.
Look, this is the end of the EFF. There's no party formed after 1994 in South Africa that lost support and regained it. So forget the EFF is gone. The MK party is actually not a party of the future, and Floyd actually is not going to drive anything there. MK party is a Zulu nationalist party. Hlophe told us, he said he didn't join the EFF because the MK party is closest to the Zulu monarch, and Floyd is not Zulu. So he's going to be treated with suspicion. He's not going to drive anything there. He's actually naive if he thinks he's going to be at the core of that party.
This is what I think too, man. I don't think that the MK party, for some reason, they're going to allow Floyd Shivambu to be the leader of the party, or for some reason to be the president of the party. I think even if Jacob Zuma says, okay guys, I am tired, I no longer want to be the president of the MK party, I don't think that Floyd Shivambu can be the president of the MK party. There are so many people inside the MK party that I think Jacob Zuma is going to consider before he even thinks of making Floyd Shivambu the president of the party. So if Floyd Shivambu left the EFF, if one of the reasons why Floyd Shivambu left the EFF is because that he's not going to be the president of the EFF, he is not going to be the president of MK party too. He's not going to be the president of MK party. He can rise up in the ranks of MK party. Maybe he can play whatever role in the MK party. But as for leading the party as the president of the party, he is not going to be the president of the MK party. He is not. The only way Floyd Shivambu can be the president of a political party is if he start his own political party. That's it. That's it. Or go back to the ANC. Go back to the ANC. There's a leadership crisis in the ANC. Go back to the ANC. Maybe you can contest Fikile Mbalula. You can contest those guys and the Paloma Shatiles. And people can say, okay, maybe let's take Floyd Shivambu as the president of the party. Let's take him as the president of the party. I think that is the only way Floyd Shivambu. But in terms of like the EFF and the MK party, if leaving the EFF was one of the reasons why because he's not going to be the president, Julius Malema wants to be the president of the party forever. He is not going to be the president of MK party. He is not. He is not. Maybe he can play he can contribute inside the MK party. Of course, he can contribute as much as he like, but he's not going to lead that party. He is not. Guys, please tell me what you think. Go to the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.